Look at a dog sleeping in the sunlight. No alarm woke it up. Nobody told it what time to be somewhere. It isn't worried about rent, career, deadlines, or whether it's fallen behind in life. It simply found a warm patch of sunlight and lay down. Now look at us. We wake up because an alarm tells us to. We spend most of our day doing things according to schedules created by other people. We work for money, use that money to pay for shelter, food, transportation, and countless obligations. And somewhere in the background, there's often a quiet question. Am I doing enough? So here's a strange question. Are animals actually more free than humans? At first, the answer seems obvious. A lion doesn't file taxes. A bird doesn't worry about a career. An elephant doesn't sit through meetings. Animals don't have dress codes, mortgages, 5-year plans, or social media expectations. They eat when they're hungry. They sleep when they're tired. They move when they need to move. They appear to live completely in the present. And perhaps that's exactly why watching an animal relax can make humans feel something strangely powerful. Envy. But the psychology of freedom is far more complicated than it appears. The philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued that civilization changed human freedom dramatically. Before governments, property systems, social hierarchies, and complex institutions, humans lived according to much simpler needs. Rousseau described this as a kind of natural liberty, the freedom to live according to basic human needs without constantly having to justify your existence to society. But civilization gave humans something in return. Security, cooperation, medicine, infrastructure, education, law. The problem is that these systems also created obligations. You gained protection, but you also gained responsibility. You gained comfort, but you gained expectations. You became safer from nature, but more dependent on society. And that's where the modern human paradox begins. We are surrounded by more comfort than most humans in history ever experienced. Yet many people still feel trapped. Think about something as basic as sleep. An animal sleeps when its body needs rest. Humans often sleep according to schedules. We may be exhausted at midnight, but stay awake because there's work tomorrow. We may wake up tired because an alarm demands it. Even something as natural as rest has become something we have to organize around obligations. Food is similar. An animal becomes hungry and searches for food. Humans can be hungry but unable to eat because they're working, traveling, or worrying about money. Shelter is another example. An animal finds a place to sleep. Humans often spend decades earning the ability to maintain a place they can call home. So yes, animals appear to possess a freedom we have lost. But here's where the story changes. Animals aren't completely free either. A wild animal doesn't have a mortgage, but it can starve. It doesn't have a boss, but it can be killed by a predator. It doesn't worry about retirement, but it may not survive the winter. It doesn't have social media anxiety, but it still experiences fear, competition, hierarchy, and stress. The psychologist and neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky famously studied baboons and discovered something fascinating. Wild animals can experience chronic stress caused by social hierarchy. Dominant animals can intimidate those below them. Lower-ranking animals experience ongoing physiological stress. Their bodies can literally reflect the pressure of their social environment. So the idea that animals live in perfect peace is an illusion. They have their own struggles. Their freedom comes with vulnerability. And this reveals something important about humans. Freedom isn't simply having no rules. Freedom also means having choices. And humans possess a unique kind of choice. A dog may run when it is afraid. A human can sometimes feel fear and choose to stay. An animal follows instinct. A human can question instinct. An animal may attack when threatened. A human can choose forgiveness. An animal follows the immediate demands of its environment. Humans can imagine a future that doesn't exist yet, and then attempt to create it. That ability comes with an enormous psychological cost. Because humans don't just experience the present. We remember the past. We imagine the future. We replay embarrassing moments from years ago. We worry about events that haven't happened. We compare our lives with people we've never met. And sometimes we suffer not because something is happening, but because our brain is imagining what might happen. This may be one of the greatest psychological differences between humans and animals. Self-awareness. A dog can experience fear, but humans can become afraid of becoming afraid. A human can ask, why am I like this? What happens after I die? Am I wasting my life? Does my life have meaning? We don't just experience existence. We think about existence, and that creates something animals may not experience in the same way. Existential anxiety. The dog in the sunlight isn't asking what its life means. It found warmth, and for that moment, warmth is enough. But there's another side to this. Humans can also experience something animals cannot easily create in the same way. Purpose. We can decide that our life should mean something. We can create art, build communities, write books, raise children, explore space, protect another species, sacrifice comfort for someone we love. We can choose a difficult path because we believe it's meaningful. That's a completely different kind of freedom. The animal is free from many human obligations, but humans possess the freedom to choose against their immediate instincts. And perhaps that's why human freedom feels so complicated. We don't just have the freedom to choose. We also have the burden of choosing. Every decision creates another possibility we didn't choose. Should I stay? Should I leave? Should I change careers? Should I take the risk? Should I forgive? Should I start again? Animals don't carry this enormous psychological menu of possibilities. Almost do. And sometimes, having too many choices doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like pressure. This is why watching a dog sleep peacefully can feel strangely emotional. You're not necessarily jealous of the dog. You're jealous of the absence of unnecessary thought. The dog isn't thinking about yesterday. It isn't worrying about next year. It isn't wondering whether another dog somewhere is living a better life. It simply exists. And maybe that's the lesson humans can learn from animals. Not that we should abandon civilization. Not that work, responsibility, or ambition are meaningless. But that sometimes we need to return to the present. Eat when you're hungry. Rest when you're tired. Spend time with people you love. Go outside. Feel the sunlight. Stop turning every moment into a measurement of productivity. Because perhaps the real problem isn't that humans lost all freedom. Maybe we simply forgot how to experience the freedom we still have. Animals don't need to prove that they deserve to exist. Humans constantly feel the need to prove themselves. More money, more success, more followers, more achievements, more productivity. But your value existed before any of those things. The dog in the sunlight doesn't need to resume. It doesn't need permission to rest. And maybe, for a few minutes every day, neither do you. So are animals more free than humans? In some ways, yes. They are free from many of the artificial pressures we created. But humans possess another kind of freedom. The ability to question, resist, create, choose, and change. The animal follows its nature. Humans can question theirs. And perhaps true freedom isn't escaping every responsibility. Perhaps it's learning which responsibilities matter and having the courage to stop carrying the ones that don't. Because sometimes the greatest freedom isn't running away from the world. It's sitting quietly in the sunlight and realizing you don't have to earn the right to simply be alive.